Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa, and I forgot to put my Apple Watch on silent, clearly.
That's so rude.
I know, I'm very rude. Next to me is Matty Figuera, who put everything of his on silent.
I did. I even messaged people to say, please don't message me. I'm recording now. This is busy time. I'm working.
Wow.
And we're recording on a Sunday for a change, which is...
Yeah, that's more my fault.
Yeah.
I had a very busy weekend, so...
Yeah, it worked out. I was busy as well. I just didn't want to confess.
Oh, what were you busy with?
Wedding venue hunting.
How did that go?
I'm at that stage of my life now. It was good. We saw some interesting places, but yeah, we still got a lot to do, I suppose, looking around. Although we are interested in a particular place, but it needs a bit of TLC.
Okay.
So it's yeah.
Is getting married all it's cracked up to be so far?
Yeah, wedding, getting married is exciting, but I think we've realized finding a venue that's not going to charge you like, I don't know, the cost of like a liver and a kidney and, you know, taking out a loan and, I don't know, trading drugs to fund
drugs
just to fund the deposits is proving to be challenging. But yeah, it's exciting.
What venue are you like looking at that you need to consider trading drugs?
Every venue is so expensive.
Really?
Just the deposit alone, yeah, will set you back. I mean, okay, so we were in Cape Town the one weekend. Remember one of those weekends I left you behind? You cried because you missed me.
Yes, yes, I was very sad. Because you constantly go to Cape Town and you leave me here in Joburg. It's very sad.
I often fly to Cape Town because I'm a pilot, but not really.
Are your wings tired?
Yeah, I got tired, so I didn't go this weekend. We went to, we expected it to be expensive, but we were at the Zeitz Museum, which is this brand new, really cool museum built out of old suppose they've taken old silos and transformed it into a really cool African museum. So we were visiting and we were like, well, let's just check it out. I mean, it probably is way out of our price range, but, you know, it's a matter of interest. So we found the manager, chatted to him, and like the entry level, literally you can come and have your wedding here, but there's nothing included. It's 75 grand.
75 grand?
75 grand. We're like,
just for the venue?
Just for the venue. That includes nothing.
So you get like no chairs,
nothing, no food,
what?
Nothing. Yeah. Okay. So that's like a premium venue, but still, when you look elsewhere, that's basically what you're getting. It's a sick industry actually, because it's not affordable.
That's absolutely crazy. Like I can't believe that's what you're paying for a venue of all things. Like, no, that's absurd. I'm sorry.
I mean, you won't even believe it. The one place we actually wanted to get married at a cool art gallery in Johannesburg called Circa.
Circa.
Yeah, it's in Rosebank. So so Lenska, my fiance, this is like her dream destination to get married, let's say.
Okay.
They don't do weddings for starters. Like they point blank refuse. So like, can we at least take photos there? And they're like, yeah, sure, for a small fee. Like, okay.
So
people just want to milk.
So you can even take photos of the venue without paying.
Yeah. It's
okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
But enough wedding planning.
So that sounds great. That sounds like it's going really well.
I know. Good thing we're only looking 2019. So,
oh my goodness, God. Okay.
What about you?
So I had a very interesting Saturday. So, like normally we record on Saturday, but yesterday I was quite busy because I have friends visiting from Cape Town. I have one playing Fortnite right here in the room while we're recording.
Distracting.
It's very distracting.
Oh my gosh, look at him build.
Yeah, look at that build and go.
Just drinking some energy. Oh man.
But so yesterday I watched a bit of the Formula One, and I wanted to kind of build a Nintendo Switch mod.
Oh,
so
nice.
Remember a while back on a retailer who shall not be named because, you know, we're not giving up free advertising here. I'm just saying.
We'll give advertising for a small fee along the lines of wedding venues.
So I picked up some Joy-Cons for a much cheaper price. And I was like, cool, now I can finally do that Nintendo Switch Joy-Con mod that I've been dying to do ever since I got the Switch. So that's like buying some shells off Amazon and basically ripping apart the Joy-Con so that you can, you know, make like a see-through cover or put a D-pad on or something like that.
Which the Switch sorely lacks.
Yes, you know? The Switch sorely lacks a good D-pad, and now that I've been playing a bunch of Celeste, again, it's way more apparent. It's a tricky process. So there's a bunch of videos out there that show you how to dismantle these very, very small controllers and transplant them. And you need like a very special toolkit to do it, which I got and everything like that. And I got the left Joy-Con working completely fine. I got a D-pad mod on there, so I've got a proper D-pad finally, and it's looking great. Then the right one, I thought I got it working correctly because it was like mostly similar. There's only 1 or 2 bits that are a bit different. And I got it all done and I got it all connected. And then when I plugged it into my Switch, just clicked it in and made the satisfying little click.
Oh.
And the console didn't like recognize it. None of the buttons worked, nothing like that. But then when I disconnected it, it was like, oh, your controller's flat. So I was like, okay, so this thing's like mildly working. Something's wrong. So then I tried to reopen it, and at that time, I accidentally stripped one of the screws.
Oh, no.
So I couldn't reopen this thing fully, and things just like got progressively worse from there. So now I can't open this thing fully, and I'm trying to repair it while like using tweezers to try and get at these little electronics to try and like
pluck its little hairs out.
Swap like 2 ribbon cables, because I'm like, maybe I've swapped these 2 around the wrong way. So I'm using tweezers in a very confined space to try and swap these 2 things. So then I close it back up again, and I try it again. Not working.
Nothing.
So I'm like, shit. Okay. So I open it up again. In the process, strip a second screw because I'm an idiot. So now I really can't, like, I have almost no wiggle room to open this thing. So I'm trying to open up this, like, these ribbon cables. They have like a clamp on them. There's like a little clamp that you flip open and then you can remove the cable. So I'm trying to do this with such like minimal space. And as I'm trying to open up this last clamp, it just snaps off.
Oh no.
And the problem is that if it was just a normal clamp, that's fine. But this clamp has the connecting pins to like conduct the electricity from the cable. So I'm like, well, that's fucked. Like, that's it. Game over. It's gone. So the last thing I tried to do was salvage just the shell, because I'm like, I can always just buy a new Joy-Con and then try put it in this new shell. But because I stripped two of the 4 screws putting it on, I cannot get them out without breaking the shell. So not only did I destroy one Joy-Con, I destroyed one half of my shell. So if I want to now have a matching set, I have to buy both a Joy-Con and a whole new set of shells, which is like a good grand, which I've already done because I cannot stand having this thing like not match. But
know. So wait, did you cough up? So you are getting
the said retailer has Joy-Cons still on sale. I think they're $600 individually, which is not bad.
Yeah, that's about half anyway, which is fine. They're normally like 800.
They're normally about 800. Yeah. So, and then I got a new shell that's on the way. It should be here in April.
No, thank God you're not a surgeon.
Yeah.
Maybe
the whole time
redeem yourself in April.
There's a part where like you have to snap off the trigger, and the trigger's got 2 springs underneath it, so it's springy. Duh. And as I ripped it off, the one spring just flew across the room. I spent about half an hour on the floor with my phone looking for this tiny ass spring, because I'm like, well, if it doesn't have the spring, the trigger's not gonna like flick back. And I found it eventually, and then ended up fucking up the controller anyway. So like,
okay, can I tell you? I've installed. Okay, so you and I seem to both have this thing for modding. I've done very subtle mods myself. I also have a horror story. I once broke my iPhone 5S screen. I cracked it.
Oh, geez.
I tried to replace it myself. So I know all about the ribbon cables and everything.
That's dangerous, though. The screens are way harder.
I know. I'm convinced I got it right, but the screen that I had, which was some knockoff from some stupid website, so I wouldn't recommend that. I'm convinced it wasn't working.
Okay.
But I have. So let's shelve that. Okay.
Okay.
I should not be a surgeon, but I did get a mod right. I love the Xbox One controller a lot. So I thought, hey, the PS4 controller is not bad, but imagine it had the Xbox One thumbsticks.
Oh, yes, you did this mod, I remember.
So I did that mod, and the same thing happened to me. So the triggers, those springs, I also lost one, found it, couldn't put it back in. So my one, it works, the shoulder works, but it doesn't have that nice, like, satisfying kickback.
Okay.
So don't worry, you're not alone.
Okay.
But I didn't have to search in the ground for hours with my phone or anything.
But you did the thumbstick mod, and that apparently is pretty easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah, getting the PS4 controller open in the first place is really a ball ache.
Okay.
But once you've got that open, and if you're careful with the springs, it's really not that bad. It's literally take the thumbsticks out, put the new ones in, and then put the controller back together. And it's worked. I've had that PS4 controller for a good few months now using it, and I love it. So some mods are worth it, is the moral of the story. Sometimes they not.
Especially when the DualShock 4 is just like the thumbsticks on the DualShock 4 are just so garbage. They're just
awful.
terrible.
They're so bad.
Terrible little thumbsticks that are just like they come apart super easily and they just feel like crap. I seriously hate this thing so much.
Yeah, that's why I replaced mine. And then for my spare controller, I just put on little thumbsticks on them, little caps, because I'm like, I'm not going to do that whole process again. Yeah.
Okay. So that we had a very interesting week. Yeah, and next week is a long weekend, which is pretty fun. But I think we'll still be recording on Saturday or sometime during the weekend before Monday. So if you have a nice long weekend and you are driving back from wherever on Monday, you can just put on some good Checkpoint chat, some wholesome video game content about how we are bad electricians and should never be near electronics.
Yeah, and our soft, soothing tones will see you through that traffic back into
we got all this great new equipment. I'm very excited.
Fancy. Jeez, like
we
I've got my own mic now. You got your own mic.
Yeah, it's very fancy. I'm busy fiddling with all sorts of knobs while we're podcasting because I'm trying to get levels right, and I'm not entirely sure where they should be sometimes because, sometimes we go soft and very loud and something like that.
Sometimes we giggle very loudly.
Yeah, it might take 1 or 2 episodes to completely fine tune because I'm still figuring out how this like onboard compressor works, and I can see it flashing every now and then. So
it's working.
I know it's working for sure.
It's doing some magic.
It's doing something there, yeah, but it might need to be a bit fiddled with. But I'm very happy because I think this is a much better solution than the Blue Yeti we had. Yeah,
we don't have a GM screen anymore, which is really an improvement.
It's an improvement, and you likely not hear as much echo through the room anymore.
I can watch PUBG while we're recording. I don't have a screen.
Fortnite. That's not PUBG.
Oh my god! Sorry, I just ruined that. Yeah, Fortnite. Sorry.
apparently, I'm the evangelist for like PUBG, and apparently I hate Fortnite according to certain people.
Who said that?
Nicola.
Well,
yes.
If you can't believe anything that guy says,
can't believe anything.
I mean, he gyms.
He gyms. Yeah,
you can't believe those people.
No, but I genuinely love you. You had a really good experience with Fortnite last night.
I did. I've played a bunch of PUBG. A couple of months ago, got into the game, and I poured dozens and dozens of hours into it because it's PUBG. It's addictive. You've got I wouldn't say, I suppose when you start the game, it is short rounds. It's very quick and it's addictive. You go in, you crash it in, you die, like just one more round. And needless to say, you lose hours and hours to this game. But I've heard really, really good things about Fortnite. And so the reason I haven't played it is because I know it's available on PC, but I'm like, my PC is different. It's a Witcher machine now.
Okay.
I'm still playing that for the record, but we won't get into that this week. But yeah, with Fortnite, I've got on my PS4, and my PS4 immigrated to Lenska's cottage, which didn't have internet. But I sorted that out this week.
Good.
So we finally, priorities. Not moving in unless we have internet. So that's sorted out. So we sat down. Well, I dabbled a bit with it on Friday. Just had a quick game or two, made sure the internet worked. Lag seemed okay. But then yesterday we were just playing. I was playing a couple of games, and then she sat down and she started playing a couple of games, and we just spent the whole evening playing Fortnite. And
awesome!
Yeah, as a person who's played PUBG for I think 100+ hours now, which isn't a lot given that people pour she's probably 1,000+ hours more. Fortnite's really, really, really good. I don't know why it gets so much hate. Like,
I don't think
it gets hate, let's say, from the PUBG purists. Like,
yes,
which is fun. I mean, it's the same premise, but Fortnite is different. It's a lot easier to get into. I mean, this isn't a knock on Lenska, but she's not a hardcore game, and the fact that she could just pick it up and immediately know.
You said that.
she'll tell me herself because she listens religiously. Just the fact that she could pick up and know, like, okay, I don't need to leave the circle. I don't need to worry about weapons. As long as I have a weapon, it's just very easy to get into. You don't need to sit and worry about scopes and armor. I mean, you have your health, your shield, and different tiers of weapons. And I think it's pretty easy to sort of gauge how good a weapon is based on the color. White is like a shitty color because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But then as you go, you're like cool green and then blue, and then and she actually placed third twice because her strategy is to land somewhere, find a weapon, and hide, which has proved very efficient because no one sees her. I've played a couple of games, and I mean, yesterday I had a funny game where I was figuring out building. I tried to climb like a mountain, and then I got just to the top and I ran out of resources. had to jump down, and I was subsequently killed, probably by someone who watched me.
Watched you building up and
like,
jumping down there, like, look
yeah,
at this complete
exactly,
noob.
yeah, and just waited for the time for me to come down and killed me.
Yeah.
But I had a good game where I came second, and it's different to PUBG, especially toward the end of the game, in the sense that building plays such a big part. I mean, one thing I do prefer about Fortnite is the fact that there is a cam that, so if you die, you can follow other people.
Yeah.
PUBG doesn't have that. You've got a death cam, so you can see how you died, but then you're out the game. Like, that's it. Starting your game. Fortnite's cool in the sense that, okay, you die, you can watch how other people play, which is really helpful to learn the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've spent once or twice just watching, the people get to the top 2 and how they build. It's mind-boggling. They go skyward and they go down and they build barriers and they shoot and then they hide and then it's completely different.
That's like a high-level Fortnite play. That is just like, it's also beyond me. I often see it. Like, you see people building in the distance, or you see them, like, as you shoot them, they turn around and pop down a wall, and
it's like reflex.
2 seconds later they've got stairs, so they have a higher ground. It's crazy.
But it's super quick. I mean, I get so excited. I'm like, oh, this wall's too high, and I spend like 5 minutes trying to get a ramp up so I can climb over it. And meanwhile, there's a door like 5 meters away.
Or you hear a chest, and you're like, man, I need to build myself up to the ceiling there.
Did you know that if you destroy the ceiling, the chest disappears?
Yes, if you destroy the floor that the chest is on, the chest disappears.
I did not know that, because Lenska was playing a game and I was like, oh, there's a chest there. It's okay, just shoot the floor out. And then it disappeared.
No.
She's like, where did it go? I'm like, oh, you lost it. It's gone.
I've learned that the hard way sometimes, because sometimes I've hit like a wall just adjacent to the chest, and if it's touching, it also dies sometimes. Okay. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing to kind of get used to. But it's a fun game. Like, I mean, everyone talks about how, Drake played with Ninja the other day on Twitch, which was a big thing for the game, and now it's out on smartphones. And I've read some like news pieces anecdotally that are like, man, this is really disrupting kids at school, because they're just playing Fortnite constantly at school. But I think what you're saying is like the game's more accessible. It's just way easier to get into. Like PUBG, I think PUBG is really good still. I think it nails the tension a lot more than Fortnite. But it's tough to get into that game.
No, it's I mean, the premise is very easy to understand. You pick a spot, you parachute, stay in the circle.
Yeah.
But with PUBG, it's literally, okay, go loot a house. Like, cool, I found, 5.56 ammo, and I've got a UMP 45. I'm like, oh, this ammo doesn't fit. And I've got a vest now and a helmet, and then a backpack, because I need a backpack big enough to hold all this stuff. And then it's just, it's a lot more complicated. Oh, and don't even get started on scopes, because it's like, cool, I've got this weapon, but I can't really see into the distance because I've got just the stock standard.
PUBG is like a sniper's game. Yeah. It really is a sniper's game. It's
very seldom that you'll benefit from close range combat, because it's very open, and seldom, I mean, I've had I don't know, like, let me throw a random figure, like 1 in 1,000 games where it ends up being like close quarter combats, Whereas, so Fortnite is, like I said earlier, it's literally you parachute in, and you just pick up a weapon, you can pick up some shields, and that's it. You're good to go. Yeah. Okay, you can pick up resources if you want to build, but that's a matter of running to a tree or a wall and just harvesting the resource. It's not complicated. You don't have to hunt for hours to get like, oh shit, I've got a good weapon, now I stand a chance. Obviously, if you find a better weapon, you've got that edge, but it's not as reliant on, well, you've got this rare sniper rifle that was, dropped by the plane, and you've got this 16 times scope, so you can just camp. It's literally, I don't know. It's just way easier.
It's not the same.
What it boils down to.
It's really not the same. It's like, and I think PUBG has kind of realized where Fortnite's strengths are, because now they're adding like a smaller map to the game. Because I think that's the other thing. Like, Fortnite doesn't have vehicles, so you can get around the map far easier, and when you're really outside of the circle, you can run.
You can run, yeah.
Yeah, and in PUBG, it's like, oh, I landed, the circle's there. If I don't find a car, I'm screwed.
And you spend the first 5 minutes running along the street looking for a car.
Just looking for a car. And by then, you get to the circle, you haven't found a gun, so you have like very little chance to even survive at that point. So it's a very different game. And I think both of them can exist. I don't think, like, anecdotally, people are like, well, one of them has to kind of like kill the other.
They can both exist. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still a big fan of PUBG, but I do see the differences, and I'm like, okay, maybe not so much now, but Fortnite did get a lot of flack, like, oh, it's this,
early
it's
on
that,
it did.
whatever. But I think a lot more people are playing it now and realizing, hey, it's actually also really fun in its own different way.
Yeah, it's just different, I find, and it's it's a good kind of different, because you can have. I find Fortnite a lot more fun when I'm playing with other people. It's just really, really good as a squad game. I find PUBG squad games a bit too frantic, and I don't know, like you those ones you're playing with 4 people and you get like, you hit someone and then you get sniped by someone else on their team, and like it's Fortnite is like you rolling as a tight unit and you're having these tight shotgun or submachine gun battles, and it's just really fun. But
PUBG,
solo PUBG is an experience in itself. It's just that tension is something that Fortnite does not get.
No, not at all.
And it's just so engrossing when you finally get into that. But at the same time, it's also frustrating, because you can be like, man, this is great, this is tense. And then, 20 minutes into a game, because PUBG games last considerably longer than Fortnite games, you just get sniped from out of nowhere. And it's like, well, that felt like a complete waste of time. Fortnite is better at like getting you into the action, I think.
Much quicker, yeah. And PUBG is that thing of you can have the best gear and you'll run for 15, 20 minutes and you won't even fire a bullet and you die. And I'm like,
very true.
That was grand.
You started with a Scar, or you started with a Kar 98 or something. You're like, well, I'm pretty well kitted for the first 5 minutes of this game, and it just doesn't pan out for you. I think Fortnite has the benefit of also being free. I think that's why it's seeing such mass reception now, because like people hear about this game, or they see like Ninja on TV talking about how much he earns, and they're like, oh, I've never checked out this game, let me try it. It's like immediately free. Whereas if they hear about something like PUBG, it's like, well, now it's $30 or I think it's 60 on Xbox, or it might still be 30. I don't know.
Yeah,
but and it also runs like absolute garbage on Xbox still.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Fortnite looks beautiful. Oh my gosh, it runs smoothly. I'm sure there are bugs, but I haven't seen any yet.
You never played when it first launched. It was only running at 30 frames per second.
Oh, yeah?
And now they added the 60 frame per second mode, and it's so good. It's so really, much better. Really nice. Like, this is how the game should have launched, but I mean, it is in early access. But Epic is doing such a great job of like attending to fan feedback and community feedback. I think that's what's giving them the edge as well.
Yeah. I mean, and PUBG just have to be careful now, because sure, they've broken all the records, but if I think if I read correctly in the news, the numbers show that Fortnite has pulled ahead in terms of Twitch stream,
in terms of revenue
and revenue as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go against each other.
It's so weird to think, because when Fortnite first came out, it was like the joke next to PUBG. It was like, oh, look at this game. It's kind of like trying to ape the same feel, and it's got these weird building mechanics, and everyone's like, now PUBG is the real experience, and that's the complete opposite.
Yeah. And I think exactly what you said, Fortnite looked at PUBG for inspiration, the whole game mode, and they did it. Now PUBG are like, well, shit, we're losing in terms of revenue and viewership. Let's see what Fortnite are doing right. And now PUBG, like you said earlier, have a smaller map coming out, which is...
It's so antithetical to what they like believed in, and they're also getting like better loot. So because I think part of what makes Fortnite really alluring is that it's got this cartoony aesthetic, and they have cool dances and cool like parachutes, and and I think I read as well that PUBG is getting loot that will affect like the look of your parachute. It's like, oh, okay, because loot in PUBG has always been weird, because I'm like, no one ever sees your like dirty Fallout 3 looking coat or your stupid ass goggles that you wear on your head, because they're sniping you from like 200 meters away,
and you put a helmet over those goggles anyway.
Exactly. So no one gives a shit about that stuff, whereas your look in Fortnite is very like central to who your character is. The game's constantly played in third person, just like PUBG, I guess. But you have more pride in your look, and more pride in the look of the weapons and your stupid pickaxe and stuff like that.
It's so good.
It's a great game, and I mean, the fact that it's free, anyone can just grab it on any of the consoles as well. It's on a whole platform that PUBG isn't even touching yet. So now it's out on phones and.
Yeah, although PUBG did launch on
smartphones
mobile.
as well. Did you give that a go?
And I played a couple of rounds for that. Well, rounds of that, and it's mind-blowing, but it runs better on my phone than it does on my PC. Although I'll be honest, I updated PUBG this week just to give it a try again, because I played it on mobile. I'm like, well, it's been I suppose about a month month to 6 weeks since I last played. Let me see what optimizations I put in. And the game does run a lot better now. They've optimized it a bit, but it's still a weird thing of like, it's just not just smooth enough for me yet.
Okay.
There's some tweaking room there. But on my phone, it runs like a dream, which is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I played 1 or 2 matches. I think you've played a lot more than I have, but
No, I really also just played like a handful of games.
Yeah, no, just when it came out, I was like, well, I'm in bed. I might as well give this a go. And I was also like, oh man, this is weird how well it just kind of performs. It's not even how smoothly it runs. It's just like the way it controls on a touch screen is very interesting.
They actually did it pretty well. I mean, it's still not perfect. I mean, I'd obviously play with a keyboard and mouse or a controller any day, but it works on the phone, which is
weird because it's got a virtual joystick on the left, and then you've got all your equipment on the right. But then the thing I find the most interesting is that there's 2 buttons for shooting. So if you're using your other thumb to aim, you can take your finger off movement on the left and actually shoot, which is a big advantage. Like, and I found myself actually like using the index finger on my right hand instead of the thumb, and like using my thumb to then shoot while I was aiming and slightly touch movement. So then again, I felt very good at the game because the game's just riddled with bots at the moment.
I came second.
Yeah, I came second on my first one. Yeah, and I was like, this is weird. I've never got 9 kills in a PUBG game.
And it is like you find someone, they shoot at you, they don't hit you at all, or they like graze your knee.
Or they run like stupidly. I've seen people like, they shoot at me, then they turn around and run away. But like run in the open.
So intimidating, man.
What the hell? What's going on? Yeah. But you can clearly see the difference between bots and players, and apparently the more you play, the more it will filter more players into the game, which I think is actually something PUBG and Fortnite should have done from the get-go.
Yeah, it's clever, actually.
Yeah, because like getting to grips with just the mechanics of, oh, there's this circle shrinking in on me. Oh, there's weapons. Oh, you know, in Fortnite's case, there's building. There's like maybe populate half your game with bots, give a person a bit of confidence with a few kills, and then they learn at the same time.
Yeah. Well, with Lenska, for example, she's not at all used to playing with a controller. So she hates the aiming in Fortnite because she's used to keyboard and mouse.
Okay.
So it's especially tricky for someone like her when you just thrown into this game and you can't really learn aiming properly because, I mean, someone sees you, they're just going to shoot you. So it would help if there were bots for her first few games just to sort of get the feel for it, learn how weapons control, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. It would be cool if it became a staple, I guess, for not just their mobile, their mainstream games on other consoles.
Because I think it's easier than something like I remember Dota 2 introduced like a bot mode, but that could never really teach you the intricacies of playing with other people and adapting to your play, like adapting to your enemy, because the bots in Dota were just like stupid, like straight up dumb. I think in Fortnite it's more a case of getting to grips with its systems more than like, oh, this is how a human will react as opposed to a bot. And just like if it filters in like after every game, it's like 5 more human players. Like after you've played like 10 games, you're now playing with a full 100 set server. You understand all the mechanics. You know the difference between a white weapon and a gold one. And you've built like 1 or 2 staircases. Then it feels far less like abrasive as soon as you start.
Yeah. So maybe moving. I mean, if PUBG's done on mobile, I don't see why they can't do it elsewhere. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. But aside from all these great Battle Royale games, have you been playing anything else this week?
No, I've dabbled in some other stuff, but nothing really worth mentioning.
So you played a bit of Witcher again, and you played a bit more Bravus X Prequel Prologue,
remixed
Chapter 2.8.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy.
So I've played a bit of both of those, but not. Okay, I've played a lot more Witcher, but I'm not gonna dive into that now. I think I don't want to.
I just keep seeing your very beautiful screenshots.
Oh man, that game is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is pretty stunning. It's actually kind of strange how good it looks even 3 years down the line. Like we look at games like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, which there was a bunch of footage that came out this week, and The Witcher like stands up there with them. Like it was miles ahead of everything else at the time.
It still boggles my mind whenever I'm riding Roach in the woods and it just starts like a storm breaks out. And that rain falling and the wind blowing it, and then just the trees like rustling.
The sunsets.
Oh man, if I could just take Instagram photos in Witcher, I'd be so happy.
Now, if you like sunsets, I've got a game for you.
Yes, tell me, what have you been playing? Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves has the coolest looking damn sunsets I've ever seen in my life.
What about the water? Tell me about the water.
Oh my god. let me tell you, this game is a visual treat on every single level possible. It is the best. It's not just like the best water in game in terms of looking, because water to me is like, you know, when I go to a hotel, especially when we go to things like E3, the first thing
Murder
I look at,
motel.
yeah, murder motel, our murder motels with like sharing beds and really old air cons that probably are older than my parents.
Sure.
My God. Thank you for sending us to E3. Critical whenever I walk into a hotel room, the first thing I look at is the bathroom, because to me that is like my barometer for kind of am I going to have a good stay here, or am I going to have a terrible time?
Oh no.
Like, should I watch what I eat so I don't have to use this bathroom as much as possible? Like, stuff like that. That's the sort of thing I look for. And then, like, bed sheets a second, because holy shit. When it comes to games, water is like
is that your barometer?
Yes. Water is like my... If a game has good water, it tickles me in a, like,
you're like,
exciting way.
Yeah,
it's like,
good water.
The Witcher 3 had, like, these great reflections on water.
And waves.
The waves, like, they look really good. Sea of Thieves is, like, a whole new benchmark. It's almost like every game before it was running on a different console.
Oh,
and Sea of Thieves is like the next generation of like a tech demo. Is like, this is what water will look like on a new console, but it's actually just running on the Xbox.
I should put that on the box. Yeah, next generation of water.
The next generation of we don't have a God of War. We don't, we don't have your Beyond, Beyond 2 Human, whatever. I don't even know. I can't remember the David Cage game name. I can't care.
Beyond.
Oh my God. 2 Human Detroit. That's the one.
That one.
Beyond was the other game. Fuck. It can show how enthusiastic I am about that game.
Heavy Rain, Beyond Human,
Heavy Rain.
Detroit.
Heavy Rain was pretty good.
That's
though.
good. That had good rain, but
that had good rain. Dear God.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Yes, that's what I was talking about. It's got like the most gorgeous water in terms of, just visually looking at how reflections jump off of this thing and how like liquid it looks, but also just the physics of it, like the way your ship kind of bobs up and down in the water, and if you're if you're swimming in the ocean, like your view will bob up and down as if when you're at the sea or the beach, and you like your whole body floats with the waves. It's simulated so damn well, but it's the variation that really gets me. So you can have like calm seas when you're just sailing out, which are really nice and blue, and like the water changes color the closer it gets to the top because the sun is hitting it. It is so meticulously detailed.
Did you get seasick ever?
I didn't actually, but I have heard of a few people who have struggled with the games, just like
constant
bobbing. No, they've straight up struggled. I think Shani Alexandra, local YouTuber, you should check her out. She tweeted that she was getting super seasick playing the game. And I don't blame some people, because the ship, the way it bobs is so realistic and so reminiscent of when I go scuba diving. I could see people get super seasick with it. But like, so you're sailing in calm waters is really good. You're sailing in rough like storms, and that's like the complete other side of the spectrum. The waves knock your boat back and forth. Like water starts pooling in the hull of your ship because of the rainwater and any water that's splashing over the deck. And like capsizing becomes a really big concern of yours, although I'm not entirely sure if you can capsize. We came very close at one point, but I don't know. And it's just like Rare has built the perfect like sailing simulator I've seen in a game yet. Like, you have to adjust your sail length, you have to adjust the angle of your sails, just like we were doing when we played the game in E3. If you're on a big galley and the person steering the ship can't see because of the sails, so someone's got to run up to the crow's nest and, kind of say, oh, you're about to hit a fucking huge rock, turn, stuff like that. You have like sets of sails, so people will be adjusting them at will. If you've got like a break in the hull, people have got to go down there, repair the hull, and then use buckets to scoop out water and chuck it off the side deck. Also, I played with someone, this is just a quick aside, I played with someone who was grabbing water at the bottom of the deck and going up to the second deck, so it's like middle, because there's like 3 levels to the ship, and throwing it out there. And then like after 2 minutes, he's like, man, this works. You don't have to throw it over the side of the ship. It just disappears through the hull. I'm like, that's why the bottom is never getting empty. That's why I'm like, where is this water coming from? So stupid shit like that. It's really fun. But just
had a dumb crewmate.
Yeah, Jesus. But in terms of like the sailing and just the mechanics of that, Sea of Thieves is so top notch, and it's then just a complete pity that the rest of the game is so bare bones and straight up boring.
That's disappointing.
So did you play the beta at all?
No, I've literally only played what we played at E3.
And at E3, all we did was have. I don't even think we had quests there. We just
it was literally sailing simulator
stuffing around. Yeah.
Oh, there was another crew, so we were against each other, but we couldn't do anything to each other.
Right. I mean, I think that's when they just revealed it. So the demo that was 2 years ago. So the demo that they had there was like, very early on. I mean, it looked pretty much really good then already. So basically, Sea of Thieves has like 3 quests. You start out on outposts. So certain islands are outposts, and there you can go to shopkeepers who sell you all sorts of swords and clothing and pistols and whatever. And all of those are just skins for the current weapons you have. There's no sword that's better than the one you start with. There's no pistol that's better than the one you start with. They're all just skins, and they're extremely expensive. So the only way to get gold is to take quests from 3 quest givers. One of them basically sends you out to an island to kill a bunch of waves of like cursed skeleton enemies. The other one sends you to an island to dig up a treasure chest. And the third one will send you to an island to pick up like an assortment of chickens or pigs, which are the only wildlife you are able to collect in this game.
That is a very random quest.
So those are the only 3 quests, and they are the only 3 quests in the entire game at the moment right now.
Really?
Yeah.
3 quests?
There's literally 3 types of quests.
Oh, 3 types.
So you can pick up 3 quests at a time, and then you put them on your captain's table in the ship, and then everyone in your session, you can be playing solo, which I 100% do not advise because it's completely doable, but it's incredibly boring. But when you're with a crew of 4, you can vote on the quest you want to do, and then you go do it. And usually, like, if you kill a bunch of skeletons, when you kill the captain of the skeletons, he'll drop a, like, glowing skull that you can put on your ship. Or when you find the treasure on an island, you'll have a treasure chest that you can't open. Put it on your ship. When you pick up, like, 1 white chicken or 1 black chicken that you need to deliver to a certain island, put it on your ship. And then all you have to do is basically go to this island, do the respective quest, sail back to an outpost and sell your skull or your chickens or your chest, and all of that just gives you gold.
And what do you use gold for?
Gold you just use to buy these cosmetic items. That's it. And the only other thing that raises up is your each of the 3 merchants has a like reputation level. So as you complete quests for them, your reputation level with them goes up, and their quests become quote unquote more difficult, which they don't really. They just become more annoying. Because they'll, like, instead of say having 1 target island to go to kill skeletons, you'll now have 3. Or for a treasure chest, instead of having a map with an X on it, you'll now have a riddle to solve. But at the end of the day, you're still going to an island, doing a thing, coming back, selling, rinse, repeat. Like, that's all that Sea of Thieves offers in terms of structured quests.
So it's a giant fetch quest.
Yeah, it's incredibly boring in that respect, but the fun kind of like seeps in with the more like emergent gameplay that comes of that. So of the game called Rust, right? So you can like kill people and steal their loot and make your stuff cooler and whatever. So Sea of Thieves is like the opposite end of Rust, where your session is populated by other players, and there's no distinction between PvE or PvP. The whole thing is PvP. Like at any point you can shoot another player, at any point you can team up with another player. Like, it's always open. They can camp at an outpost and wait for you to come and try and turn in your treasure chest, and they can murder you there. They can do that. And this sets up exciting. It sets up really cool scenarios. At first you're like, well, that's dumb because people are just going to be griefing. But then you realize, okay, everyone has the same equipment, which is why I think Rare did this. Is like, they don't want people to have better guns and swords and then start just harassing the lower level players, because then you end up with Rust, which is garbage.
Sea of Rust.
Yeah, Sea of Rust. Good lord. But it leads to these cool instances where yesterday I was playing and I was playing with one other person, so we were on a smaller ship. We were doing a 2-man ship, and we saw a bigger ship on the horizon, and we were like, well, let's go see if we can try destroy this bigger ship, or sneak on their ship and steal whatever treasure they have. It didn't work out so well, because every time we got close to them, they were onto us, and bigger ships have 3 cannons on each side, and we only have 1.
I know.
So they sunk us pretty quickly. And then, if we got close to them to try and board them, 4 of them just jumped on our ship, and there was only 2 of us. So no matter how good we are at the really clunky sword fighting, we still died.
Yeah.
But like, cool adventures like that. You can, I've seen videos of people on the internet who form like shaky alliances with other ships, and they go to these skull forts where you can get a lot of loot. And then they're like, oh, we're going to subdivide the treasure. And then they just like break out into all-out war when someone decides to betray the other. So there's these cool like moments where you can have this truly emergent gameplay. And Rare does a good job of giving you a playground to kind of explore these options. But there's just really, I don't think, not much in there to keep you there. If it was an instance of, okay, cool, we just raided the ship. They had like 4 chests and 3 cursed skulls on there, and holy shit, and a chicken, and wow, we're going to be so rich when you go back to the outpost and sell this all in. And it's like, cool, but you sell this stuff. Firstly, the stuff's super expensive, so 90% chance you won't be able to afford even just a new sword, or B, like, it's just a new sword. It's just like, oh, instead of silver, now I'm seeing gold, or now my compass looks a bit shiny as opposed to the standard compass, or now my fucking grog mug has a jewel on it so that when I get drunk it looks fancy, or like it's vanity items that some people may be drawn to. But in a month, is that enough?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, is that enough?
There's no real sort of end game.
There's no end game. No one really knows the end game yet, because all there is as a hint for end game is this merchant who's in each of the taverns, and he's like, oh, try get all your quest givers up to level 5, and then you do that and you go back to him. He's like, okay, now level 10.
Oh no.
And then you do that, and then he's like, okay, now level 15. And you're like, what?
When does it stop?
Yeah, it stops at level 50 apparently, but there's so much grinding involved to get there. I think the highest I'm on is like the Order of Souls. I'm on level 10, and the rest are all sub 10, and I've played for maybe 15 hours, 20 hours already.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm just like, I just can't see a reason to continue playing unless like I have a friend who's playing, and I'm like, cool, let's just fuck around on the seas for 3 hours and chat and catch up. And it's a really nice platform to just kind of take a chilled and that. Yeah. But if I want to play something where I feel like I'm progressing on I'll play something maybe like Destiny or Warframe, or, something a bit more substantial than what I'm getting.
You're working towards something in a not so dramatic.
Exactly.
Then you need to put 200 hours more in, man. I don't know what you're worried about.
Yeah, I know. Or 1,000 hours in if it was Rust,
Oh, shit. So now, has anyone gotten level 50 on everything?
I haven't seen anyone say they've got level 50. I would imagine that should start happening soon, because the game has been out for nearly a week now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everyone has this like split opinion on, oh, there's not enough content here, which I 100% agree with. And also, like, I'm looking at these people have these really cool, interesting moments, that I can't say, oh, well, that doesn't matter because there's no content. It's like, no, you had that experience that exists. You had that fun. But, it's also just the first week of launch. Like, 2 weeks from now, is anyone going to be talking about Sea of Thieves? Like, is anyone going to be talking about the 7th time that they betrayed another pirate faction? Because that's not fun anymore. It's just the same thing. It feels fun because it's new. So Rare says that this is going to be a living game, and, they're going to keep updating it and whatever, but they have to do something large, because right now, I don't think it's worth a $60 purchase. There's nowhere near enough content to justify something like that. If it was something that was like free to play or like $30, rad, done. I would recommend it in a heartbeat, because there is fun to be had. But to tell you to drop 900, 1,000 rand on this, and then in 2 weeks, I have no idea if there's going to be anything left for you to play. Like, no, not a chance. So Sea of Thieves is very disappointing in that regard, because I thought it would be a big win for Microsoft.
There's a lot riding. Well, there is a lot riding on it.
I mean, Microsoft doesn't have a big staple for the rest of this year. They've got State of Decay in May, which is looking fantastic. Cool, and Crackdown 3 coming someday, and like the rest we'll see at E3. I don't know what else they have planned.
I don't know.
Sea of Thieves was meant to be big for them.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a huge one for them.
Yeah, and I mean, we loved it when we played it at E3. We were just... But again, we loved it because of we're messing around, and how do you sail this ship? Oh, I have no idea how this works. Oh, look, I fell off the ship. Like, cool. But when you understand the mechanics, like, are those funny moments going to happen anymore?
Yeah, it'll happen, like you said, initially. But then, in a week or 2 or 3, however long it lasts, where are people going? Are people going to be talking about it? Is the game still going to be popular? I don't know. Are they going to patch something in like ASAP, new quests? Or, I mean, it probably won't happen.
Wait, I got an idea. 100 pirates sail into the map.
I know. With a circle around them, a storm.
With a circle around them. Like, if you go out the circle, a swarm of krakens attacks you. Okay? And then everyone starts with one ship and one cannon. And you can land at islands and attach more cannons to your ship.
Wait, do you parachute with your ship out of a plane?
Yes. No, instead of parachuting, you spawn from Davy Jones' locker, so you just see your ship kind of like fucking rapidly rise from the depths of the ocean, and you just choose when you want to buoy up into the water.
Okay.
Now tell me you won't play that.
Let's be honest. PUBG, Fortnite, Sea of Thieves actually sounds like it would be fun.
Okay, I'd actually play that shit.
I would play it.
I would 100% play that. Like, oh my god, there's a guy in the distance. Adjust my sails, adjust my cannons, load my cannon. Like,
that would be awesome for squad play. Actually,
yeah, exactly. It would be freaking cool.
So maybe they're gonna shoehorn that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sea of Thieves Battle Royale.
I mean, why not? Other games. We all know that this year at E3, we should actually have like bingo or something,
like
a drinking game or something.
A Battle Royale bingo.
Yeah, like will EA announce Battle Royale? Will Ubisoft announce Battle Royale?
I would be shocked if something like Call of Duty doesn't announce the Battle Royale.
Oh yeah. It'll be like shocked. What is it? Black Ops 4 with
Black Ops 4 with the screwed up Roman numerals.
It's not Black Ops I Battle Royale.
Can't wait till
it's
Final
definitely
Fantasy
gonna happen. Yeah, I think that would be interesting, to be honest. Sea of Thieves Battle Royale. And it's a pity though, because you say that the engine itself running Sea of Thieves, it's like, it looks gorgeous, and operating a ship is sort of like an art. You need to all work together and get everything going, but it's just let down by a lackluster quest system or progression system. So
it just kind of feels unfinished. I think
that's
the most apt thing that I kind of heard was when I first started with playing with a friend who didn't really have a background on Sea of Thieves, hadn't been following it, but just thought, to jump in with me. About 10 minutes into our game session, he was like, "Is this game in early access?"
Oh, no.
And I straight up laughed, because I was like, it does feel like
it's shit.
It does from a content perspective, because in terms of performance, it's flawless. In terms of visually, it's, incredible.
It looks great, yeah.
But in content, you're like, is this a beta? Is this alpha? And this is what confused me, because when we played the open beta,
that's what it was.
I was like, man, that was really cool, but it felt really limited. I can't wait to see what they put in the rest of the game. And then you load up the game, you're like, oh no, this is the rest of the game. This was the rest of the game. Like,
shit.
Yeah,
that is disappointing.
It's just real disappointing. And I can say until I'm blue in the face that it might be something one day. Because we've seen games like The Division and Rainbow Six Siege and all like resurge afterwards, and it could be something. But right now, if someone had to ask me, should I spend $60 or 900 Rand on Sea of Thieves, I would say no. Do not. Wait it out. See what happens.
What they add to it.
What they add to it. If you've got a bunch of friends who are begging you to play, cool, because you'll probably get a few hours of enjoyment out of that. But will you be playing this game in a month? I can't tell you for sure.
Maybe it's just a big PR/marketing stunt. They've got all these people in, and then a week after launch, something happens, and your level 50 grand becomes worth it or something. I don't know.
Okay, we're talking like Battlefront 2 level here.
Oh no,
controversies.
No.
Okay. I was on board for a while there. I was on board.
Well, you never know. The nature of games today is that it's sad to say that there is this loop of lackluster games launch and then they get fixed after the fact.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's not great at launch, but it is nice to think that maybe one day Sea of Thieves will be, up there, the pirate game to play. Or suppose it is the pirate game to play at the moment.
It's kind of the only pirate game out there.
I don't know what else you could... Although there's that ship game coming out. What's it called?
The Ubisoft one?
Ubisoft, where you literally a ship...
Skull and Bones, I think.
Where they showcase, like, oh my god, you get to not pilot a ship, or you get to... Do you pilot a ship?
I think you pilot like a crew of people. It's sort of like the sailing from Assassin's Creed Black Flag without your assassin.
Yeah,
you're just the steering.
But
wheel.
you are the ship, which no one was like.
See, now that game could have a battle royale mode because it's all predicated on ship combat.
Yes.
So 100 sailors.
No, you can't just make everything battle royale. Although
why not?
That is going to happen. We know. We've seen this happen with MOBAs, and it's going to happen with
Splatoon,
Royale.
100 Inklings, better sent onto a map.
You can put on everything. Dota, 100 heroes.
Mario, 100 Goombas spawn onto a world.
They find flowers, and those could be the power-ups.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
There are
100
many
Zeldas
untapped markets
parachute
here.
onto Hyrule.
Yeah.
Hire me now, Nintendo. Hire me
Breath
now.
of the Wild Royale. Jeez, like that'd
Down,
actually be
I'm
a
down.
lot of
I'm
fun.
down.
They've got the system there. They've got the different tiers of
I mean, I'd only be there if
weapons
Shigeru Miyamoto is in a live-action advert where he's like physically parachuting onto like a CG recreation of
And
Hyrule, and he's wearing the Mario and Rabbids gun on his arm.
Well,
He's just
they've done
ready
that, yeah.
to fight.
I mean, if Nintendo can do like puppet rip-offs,
Yeah,
and they
why not
can
that?
have him on stage with like that piranha weapon, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. He
Who's
had
to
that
say
gun.
they won't make a live action
Miyamoto's scary, man.
it?
He
Yes.
had that fucking gun on the stage. He could have killed everyone in that.
And they say
theater.
Nintendo's child friendly.
Yo,
This is
people don't
just
know shit.
no.
People don't know
And
shit.
we've already touched on Kirby, that little monster. Yo,
Yeah, exactly. Kirby
This-
is actually the antagonist for the entire series. You are playing
We-
the bad guy. Everyone's like, why do we only play good guys in game? Play a Kirby game.
we are rebranding this
You just
podcast.
eat everything in that kingdom. They're actually trying to kill Kirby to, like live in peace. But Swole King Dedede, he can't stay.
Swole King.
He can't keep Kirby at bay because Kirby just eats everything and
my
shoots
God.
it back at him. And then Meta Knight is like, shit. Even my cool ass sword and my armor aren't enough.
Oh no, match! Okay, now that we've reined an audience in, we can reveal to you all that this is actually a Nintendo conspiracy podcast. Where
Okay.
no, okay, it's not. Cool, but I mean, other than Sea of Thieves, have you played anything else?
Not too much. No, I've been playing a bunch of Sea of Thieves this week, mostly just because it's review purposes. I dipped my toes back into Persona a little bit before Sea of Thieves came out
Persona.
because I just had some free time. Man, that is a game that is tough to get back into when you've taken like a 3-month break.
Oh yeah,
Because I got back in, I was like,
what is going on?
I can't remember what stats I was actually aiming to like level up. I can't even remember which part-time jobs and which after-school activities affect which stats. I'm like completely lost. So it took like a good half an hour for me to kind of get to grips with what I was trying to do again. But yeah, that game's just great. I think
It's
I'm
a game I
nearing
need
the
to play.
end. I'm about 70 hours in, and if I'm right, there's only about 1 or 2 palaces left, which are like the big main dungeons. I think it drags a bit at the end. I think it could have wrapped up by now and been pretty satisfactory, but they kind of like pulling that, that thread along.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, next person. But it's just a really good, wholesome game. I got into a relationship with one of the characters.
Oh.
Good time.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
That is
finally-
the whole purpose of the game.
What was weird was like I had been eyeing this character from the get-go, but then the moment where like you can only profess your love for a character once you level your social link with them up to like level 9.
This is like real life, actually.
It is like real life. You have to get your social link with
You
the
can only
person to
propose
level
at
9.
level 40. I'll have you know.
But essentially then like the game prompts you, it's like the next decision will affect the rest of the game. And it's like, ooh, very ominous. And like the first few times I hit that moment with characters I wasn't too interested in, it seemed like a very tender moment, which, it would make sense to kind of engage in that sort of proposal. But the character I really wanted to engage with, it was such an awkward situation because it was like she was saying goodbye to her friend who tried to commit suicide at the beginning of the game, and she was really sad. And then like you just come out there and you're like, I love you. And you're like, what? Like, this is not the correct moment to be saying this. What are you talking about?
That's when you restart the whole game. You're like,
Oh my
I've
God.
made a mistake.
It's like I made a massive mistake in choosing you.
So did you marry this character?
I didn't marry them. I mean, we're only in high school, man. Like,
So?
we're Japanese. But I'm super enjoying the rest of the game, and I'm just kind of keen to get to the end of it so I can see how the story wraps up, and then I can move on to other games because I feel guilty starting anything else
Yeah,
until I
until
finish
you-
Persona, because now I've had it for next month will be like a year.
Oh,
So,
geez,
yeah, I just feel like I should. I did also play 5 minutes or 10 minutes the opening of Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, no.
So I can just say that A, the game is beautiful, B, Bike is really cool, C, he has an incredibly seductive voice. It's incredible.
You're playing,
And-
your shirt was off. Like, whoa, how did this happen?
Yo, damn. And the game has a seriously violent opening. Like
geez,
there's like a guy throws a dagger at you, and Bite catches it in like a mask as like a shield, and then he just turns the mask around and shoves it into
Oh.
the dude's face. It's fucking
Jeez,
brutal. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, I called the camel. That's my horse. It ran across the dunes very strangely, and I was like, "Yep, this is an Assassin's Creed game. That looks fucking weird." Like, just this camel like sprinting across the dunes.
Awesome.
But yeah, but I'm keen to get stuck into that maybe after Persona, because that's also like
That's
on
a
my backlog of
game,
shame. Speaking of backlogs, we got a really cool question from a avid listener, Craig Guild.
Craig,
Is his surname Guild?
Is the. Sorry, what?
What's his surname? Is it Guild?
Guild? Is it Guild? I actually don't know now.
He's
It is
Guild.
Craig Guild, yeah.
Is it?
Well, that's what he's known as.
That's what he's now. Yeah, he
Shall I look him up on Facebook?
Yes,
quickly?
he asked us a pretty pertinent question on Twitter to do with backlogs. Because he is notorious. He's a good friend of both of ours, friend of the show, if you'd say.
He's a textbook example.
Textbook example of buying games on sale, never getting to them. And we've tried to keep him away from these games. We've tried to keep...
We've really tried.
Every time there's a sale, we're like, Craig, don't. I can't even talk to Matty on our like WhatsApp group, because if I let Craig get a whiff of a sale...
Oh, God.
That...
His
His
credit
card
card's
just
out.
weeps.
He's busy swiping it. And then, his backlog just grows.
And he's like, man, I just bought these 5 games. I'll get to them in 2025. Maybe.
We're
Never.
like, no, you've married, you got children,
He hasn't played The Witcher yet.
And it's not, The Witcher is the perfect example, because I was not like that. I mean, I don't have a backlog of that skill, but I have a backlog. But I mean, I've reached a point where I'm like, I'm actually not going to buy any more games until I've at least tried getting through a little bit of my backlog. You know, I won't get through everything. Let's be honest. Okay, I don't think anyone can realistically get through the entire backlog. Craig's just on a whole nother level, because like I finally got to Witcher 3, and he just flat out refuses to play that, which makes him a bad human, because it's a great game.
Oh, sorry,
but
you only got to it this year.
3 years after the fact. Backlogs. What did he ask on Twitter?
I think he asked how you deal with backlogs. I don't know. Do you want to look it up there real quick?
His surname is Guild, by the way. And it's funny
good.
because he's actually, I don't think he asked about backlogs. He wants us to feed his addiction. Okay, let me get to his question.
That's not good.
We put out a tweet saying, okay, we're recording episode 4. Do you have any questions you'd like us to tackle this week? And he said, digital Easter specials. What's good? And what are the cheap prices and what's must have on the sale?
Oh, that's the sale on PSN, I think, at the moment. Let me just bring up the list. We are super prepared.
Yeah, we are very prepared. Do you want me to talk about our sponsors? Not this episode.
I mean,
no?
you can fill the time while I type in Easter sales special.
Wow, that's complicated. This is action intervention, Craig. We are here to talk to you about your backlog. It's time your wife contacted us, and she's like, we just can't do this anymore. Our group of friends stepped forward, like, Craig, we need to remove your credit card from your hand. And even Nicola, the guy who just hates everything, he even said, shit, I feel really bad for Craig, and I just need to stop him from spending his money. So on that topic, about these specials,
yes. So we've got actually
what
a pretty good list. I'm just gonna quickly read out the entire list here. You've got Assassin's Creed Origins, Nier Automata, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim Special Edition, because Skyrim releases on every fucking console ever made. Grand Theft Auto 5, The Witcher 3, Call of Duty.
Interesting, Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. I wonder who bought that once upon a time.
Wow.
Call of Duty World War 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, The Evil Within 2, Battlefield 1, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, whoops, FIFA 18, Formula 1 2017, EA Sports UFC, NBA 2K18, Dirt Rally, Assassin's Creed Origins,
it's
Season
a lot of
Pass,
games.
Battlefield 1 Season Pass, Ark Season Pass, Doom VR, everything else is boring, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim VR, Eagle Flight, Undertale, Outlast 2, The Escapists, Goat Simulator, the goat of the year.
That's a lot of games. So to answer Craig's question, we're going to start with you, because you've actually got the list in front of you, and I didn't memorize everything you read off it.
How dare you?
What would you pick from that list?
I would pick nothing for Craig, because he should not be buying more games. He should
not.
Be
This is an
ones he's
intervention,
playing.
Craig. Do not buy anything.
If your backlog was completely empty, see, the part of the problem is I think he owns most of these games already. So I think he owns Assassin's Creed. I'm not sure. I think Nier Automata is one of the best games from 2017. So if you haven't got that, that's a really good pick. It's also like 40 hours.
Oh, that's actually a game I would pick up, I think, because I've also heard really good things about it. I don't actually know anything about the game, which is perfect for me because I really enjoy games that I don't know anything about. So
the creator's a dude named Yokotaro.
Yes.
And he wears a moon.
He wears a moon.
He wears a helmet that looks like a moon with a smiley face on it.
Oh.
And that's all he wears.
I thought you meant literally the moon. I thought he must be the biggest headed.
If you take the moon from Majora's Mask and make it a bit weirder, that's like Yokotaro's helmet that he wears everywhere.
Well, then why wouldn't I play that game?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
It's
so,
great.
yeah, that game, I found that games that I don't know much about, but that are lauded, obviously, for a reason, I just enjoy a lot more because you just get into it like, don't know what to expect, and it surprises you more, I suppose.
I think also it's not a case of having to have played the first Nier, because I never played the first Nier.
There's a first one? Okay,
it came out like in like the 360 days. I think it was about 10 years ago now. Must have been about 10 years ago now, but it was like...
So before your time, before you were born.
Before I was born, yeah.
Oh my God. You're so young. How are we podcasting? This is illegal.
It was one of those games that was kind of like not critically acclaimed, but a select group of people really, really enjoyed it. So like a cult classic, so to speak. So, but the second one got a far bigger critical reception, and a lot of people say it's really good. So I'd pick that up. GTA 5, if you've never played that somehow, because apparently it sold like 83 million copies. So yeah, madness.
Everyone on the planet has played it.
Absolutely madness. Witcher 3 is good, but most people have that already. I'm a bit lukewarm on Call of Duty and Battlefront 2, especially Battlefront 2. I think is they fixed a lot of the
issues,
microtransaction things this week. They
fixed the issue of stealing your money.
Yeah, it only took 6 months for them to figure out like, hey, maybe we shouldn't give game-changing enhancements to people who are spending money on our virtual slot machine. It took them 6 months to fix that somehow, but
man, game development's hard. You know this. You can't just delete some code and have the problem fixed. You might delete half the game by accident.
If greedy, remove slot machine.
Yeah,
that's how video games work. Call of Duty World War II, I guess, is good, but I'm pretty sure people who are keen on that game have it, and if you're not keen on it, you're probably just looking to play the story. And I don't think the sale price is good enough to just justify it for that. The other big one I'd play on here is Evil Within 2.
I've also heard really good things about that. I never played the first one, but
I never did either.
I know I've heard that the second one opens the game up a bit more, and it's just a lot better overall.
So the first one, you'd know this, the creator of Resident Evil. Is it Shinji Mikami?
I think it's Shinji Mikami, yeah.
Shinji Mikami.
Oh God, what if it's not?
We'll have
angry fans. I think it is Shinji Mikami.
I think it's Shinji Mikami, yeah. So he directed the first one, as far as I know. He didn't direct this one, and that's kind of good, I think, because I think he made a lot of mistakes with the first one. It's not a great game to play, but the second one, I played it a little bit on Xbox as well. It's really good. You've got this like hub world that you can kind of move around in and explore, and it's just creepy as all fuck. It's so creepy, and it's got this like campy horror. Like, the dialogue is like classic Resident Evil, like between serious and just complete stupid. Yeah, you're a Jill sandwich. Yes, that's exactly that. Yeah. But you being a Resident Evil fan, I think I'd enjoy that up one day.
Yeah, it is Shinji Mikami, just for the record. So no angry fans mobbing at the front gate.
Games I wouldn't buy on sale. Doom VR, terrible game. Do not buy that game. If you have PSVR, just get something else. Like Elder Scrolls VR, apparently it's pretty good. Or Eagle Flight.
Oh God! Is it any good? I don't actually know.
Eagle Flight, I don't know. It's like I played it once at E3 and I got really ill because flying in VR just screwed with my brain.
Oh man!
Apparently Undertale's pretty good.
That's also
coming to Nintendo Switch. So who wants it on PS4?
Exactly. Yeah. What? Oh, but speaking. So are we at the end of that sale?
Yeah, that's done.
Okay, there's also, I don't think that's the sale Craig is talking about, but he does have a Nintendo Switch. So Craig, don't buy extra games, but we're going to tell you about what is on the Nintendo Switch sale, which
there's
is
a lot actually, yeah.
Which is, I don't know if you have it open.
I bought a game on Switch. I'll talk about it next time.
Okay, I don't have it open though, so do you want to maybe fill some time? You'll be so prepared here while I look this up quickly.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you quickly about the game I bought on Nintendo Switch.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
It wasn't on sale, but it was 160 Rand. I think it came out a few weeks ago. It's a game called Flint Hook. It's been out on other consoles and PC before, but basically it's like I think it's like a hybrid between a dungeon crawler and a a roguelite because it's all about your runs essentially. You're trying to infiltrate and steal chests from as many ships as you can. But if you die, then you restart your run. But every run is procedurally generated, and you get weapons and stuff like that on each run, and you get money that you can then spend on your gear and new perks that will follow you through each run. But the one thing that really gets me is, firstly, you're a pirate in space. Really cool aesthetic.
Nice.
Your character looks really cool. He looks like he's a ghost pirate, but he basically looks like a dude that's just got like a bed sheet over his head. It's very spooky. But the best thing is this mechanic where you have this like grappling gun, and there's hooks through each little room. That each room is like a little puzzle or a action arena. And like you can string together these hooks where you'll use your hook shot to hook to a ring, and then you'll be in the air, and then you'll hook to another ring, and you can like basically Spider-Man your way around these levels, and it just feels so good.
Satisfying.
It feels super satisfying. So it's a game that's been out for a while on other platforms, but now that it's on Switch, it feels really good with the 2 analog sticks. And for $160, yeah, that's a game that you can kill half an hour with, have a good run, and be like, cool, I'll come back to that later.
Done.
Cool. What's up with the sale?
So I've got the sale open. I'm just going to run through it quickly. So I'm just going to run through the Switch stuff because there's Wii U stuff, there's 3DS stuff. I mean, I might touch on some 3DS stuff. I
think Ocarina of Time's on the 3DS sale.
Which is, So we've got ARMS, we've got Axiom Verge, we've got Blossom Tales, The Sleeping King. I have no idea what that is.
That's like almost like a ripoff of A Link to the Past.
Oh, okay.
Apparently very
good then. We've got Cat Quest. I'm buying that as soon as we're done recording the show. Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Very good.
Doom for the Switch.
Also very good.
Farming Simulator for the Switch. Now that's an interesting one.
Okay, so it's not Farming Simulator, or what's the other one?
Pure Farming. No, it's not that.
Okay.
We've got Fair.
Oh, that's the EA indie game.
Was that any good?
Apparently, it was it's a good 7 out of 10. It's got a really cool aesthetic and stuff. Not great platforming. It's something I'd buy on sale. Put it that way.
Okay. Well, yeah. FIFA 18, Gear.Club Unlimited. On 3DS, we've got Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Ooh, okay, pretty good.
Back to Switch, Kamiko, Lego City Undercover. Sorry, I'm just going to mention this because it's interesting. On the 3DS, we've got a few Monster Hunter games. We've got Monster Hunter Generations and Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay.
So let's just remember that before Monster Hunter World, is that the latest one? Monster Hunter's always been a pretty fantastic series, but I suppose overlooked because it's on
portables
handheld,
as well, and difficult to get into.
Yeah. So if you aren't playing Monster Hunter World and you want something on the go, maybe those are the ones you need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back on the Switch, we've got Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. I'd recommend. The first one is really good. I enjoyed the second one.
I haven't played them yet.
They really, I mean, they're not mind-blowing, but I think they do Resident Evil pretty well.
Are these on the Switch? These are the ported versions. Okay.
Yeah, so
the
Resident Evil Revelations was on the 3DS, but now, these are both Switch. Rocket League Switch was like a must-buy if you're looking for multiplayer on the go. Severed on the Switch, which I played on the Vita.
Tell me a bit about that, because someone the other day asked me about it, and I haven't played it, but I know it's by Drinkbox who do Guacamelee and stuff like that.
So Severed is a very... I don't want to say it like a messed up game in the sense that I don't mean that in a derogatory or mean way, but just the art style that it's very like art, but in a cool way. So you playing as I played it a long time ago.
Is it like a dungeon crawler of sorts?
It's like a first-person dungeon crawler almost, but there's a story attached to it, and there are level ups and whatever. Long story short, though, your family's gone missing. Your arm is cut off, if I remember. Severed, that's the game. You get... and you basically get a sword, and I can't remember if there's someone talking... whatever. You get a sword, and you're busy running your way through these dungeons, and the way the game works, it only works on touchscreen because you're basically swiping across the screen to attack enemies who appear. So you need to sever enemies to sort of pick up their body parts and use those to level up because severed. But yeah, it's just interesting because on the Vita it sort of works because it's a small touch screen, so it's very easy to like swipe your way in specific directions and whatnot. I don't know how to work.
Do you play the game entirely with touch controls?
Yeah, okay. So you use the analog to move, but to attack it's purely touch. There's no other inputs.
So is that why I think they ported it over to smartphones eventually?
Yeah, it would make sense on smartphones. On Switch it would work. I just don't know that's that touchscreen's a lot bigger than the Vita. So
Yeah, it's not a console you really want to be holding.
I think you'll probably hurt your wrist after a long time.
But a good game.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. So I know I butchered the I butchered the explanation, but really interesting game. I'll check it out. And on the Switch, it's only 117 rand, so it's really steal, nothing. Yeah. And it is a great game. It took me, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 hours to finish.
Cool.
So yeah, there's that. Super Bomberman on Switch. The Elder Scrolls, which is Elder Scrolls Skyrim on Switch. Jeez, like it's on everything. 3DS, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Do that. Buy that game.
143 rand. I think that's
Zeldas
worth
ever
picking up.
created.
I'll wait for it to come to Switch.
Maybe one day.
It probably will.
Console.
Back to Switch, Thumper, and Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. Don't know what that is. And WWE 2K18 for Darren. He wants to play that on his Switch.
Apparently it's garbage on Switch.
And then, I've also heard that. And then back to the final game in 3DS, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, which is that?
On 3DS?
3DS, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was when they
That was the original. Yeah, that is the...
No,
not the original, but the...
Chronicles.
But there's a sequel, isn't
there?
And
then there was Chronicles 2, which
so it's not that one. Oh, sorry, and I skipped over probably the pick of the sale. SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2, and SteamWorld Heist Ultimate
Buy
Edition.
SteamWorld Dig 2. It is one of the best games that came out in 2017. It is
I need to grab that game. My Switch is being neglected at the moment.
One of the most captivating upgrade loops in there. You're just you're digging, you're finding stuff. You're like, oh, I can't get past this wall. Oh, now I've got a tool. Oh, now I can get past that wall. Oh, now I've got another tool. Wait, I can go back there. It's so satisfying. It's so good. Pick up that game. Yeah, support it.
Pick up that game, Craig. And we're done. Your intervention's
over.
Sales,
yeah. Do I have any other listener questions?
No, we had one from Migs. Not a question, but it's actually it is a question. He says, by the way, guys, who did your logo? It's pretty neat. Will it be updated when the new Nintendo Sony consoles are out?
Wait, was that really a question?
Yeah, it came through less than a day ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So now we can finally give a shout out to Nick, so you can stop badgering us about it.
That guy, he just badgers.
We pay him to do a job, and he badgers us.
Pay him discounted rates, and he just expects free handouts.
But seriously, a good fellow and friend of the show, I assume. I don't know if he even listens.
Does he still listen?
Nick DeBrain, who you might know as the creator of the logo for Critical Hit and the owner of a local company called Design Wave. He gave us a really good price on our logo because he's a really good guy. He did a really stellar job with our logo, I think, considering we went to him with 0 ideas.
Yeah, we literally 0 direction. We're like, listen, we're doing a podcast, please design us a thing.
Yeah.
And the thing he designed
was great. I think our logo is really good.
I love it. My hair's glorious.
It was very, very quick. I was really happy with the outcome and the turnaround on it. So yeah, if you've got any sort of logo or copywriting sort of jobs, you should really check out Design Wave and support local because he does a good job, and I think our logo is fabulous.
He does. As for the respective consoles we are holding, I was given the controller and Alessandro got the Switch, so I don't quite like that part of the logo.
I mean, you just better suck that buttercup.
As for if it will be updated when new consoles launch, maybe in a year or two, we will be like, we need just a little update. I don't know.
You can put a VR helmet on you. You can put the Joy-Con on my ears or something
on your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Nintendo Labo, that might be a thing. You are
that's out soon.
The controller.
Fuck
yeah.
Yes.
When is that coming out?
We must have a live session of us trying to build Labo.
Oh no. You butchered the modding of your controller.
Shut up, this cardboard, it can't break.
It's kid friendly. It's fine.
It's kid friendly.
You fill that.
I will somehow break the strings on that robot backpack thing.
I just insulted you. It was great.
Should we look at some brief news very quickly? Because we're already running out of time.
Do you want to see what games are coming out this week, or do you want to do that after the news?
Yes.
Okay.
And let me not so the first one that is definitely coming out this week and not next week like I thought it was Far Cry 5.
Yes.
Tell me about your thoughts on Far Cry 5 while I get this list out.
Well, Far Cry 5, to be completely honest, had 0 interest in the game because, I don't know, Far Cry to me became very samey in that you're a dude on an island or in the Himalayas and you need to run out and kill animals and craft ammo pouches and shoot mercenaries and. So I was just like, nah, it doesn't really appeal to me. But early impressions of Far Cry 5, I still haven't seen any gameplay past what's like been shown at E3, for example.
Yeah.
Apparently it's really good. No, I don't think scores are out yet.
No,
Have there been
I think
any review
the
scores?
review embargo, this podcast goes out on Monday. I think the embargo is on Monday as well. I don't know if it's in the morning or in the afternoon, but definitely by the time you're listening to this, it's fairly likely that reviews will be out. But just anecdotally, like what I've been hearing from people I know playing the game is that it's firstly very good. That it cuts out a lot of the kind of fat that has been plaguing open world Ubisoft games for a long time now. So, it's not super icon heavy. There's not a bunch of quests that feel cookie cutter, like, oh, we'll make this a fetch quest, but instead of fetching this item, you're fetching this item or something like that. It doesn't have a lot of the crafting elements that were in previous Far Cries, which sometimes got very tedious. So it just sounds like a slimmer, more focused Far Cry, which I wasn't expecting. That's extremely fun to play. So even though I said I wasn't interested in it, I'm very quickly getting interested in just checking it out and seeing what the fuss is about.
Yeah. And when did Far Cry Primal come out? It was about a year
it was
and a half,
2 years ago. Yeah.
And before that was Far Cry 4 like a year before that.
Yeah, it was a year before.
So
that, yeah.
they supposed did the Assassin's Creed thing where they just gave this more breathing room.
A bit more breathing room.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing now is like kind of like an alternation game because they have franchises like Watch Dogs and Far Cry and we hopefully assume a new Splinter Cell. And if they can like cycle through those, like I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Splinter Cell this year and then, if we don't get a Splinter Cell this year, we'll get a tease for a new Watch Dogs or,
next
next year we'll get, I'm pretty sure we'll get another Assassin's Creed every year again now.
Oh no.
But I think they might cycle through like the Watch Dogs Far Cry loop and just keep that alternating, which is cool. I think I'm very happy for Ubisoft as well because as part of the news, Vivendi basically gave up their chase for Ubisoft. They sold all their shares in Ubisoft and have signed a contract saying that they won't attempt another takeover for the next 5 years.
Oh.
But it was looking pretty dire for Ubisoft at one point. Like, I mean, did you watch the E3 press conference last year?
Yeah.
They had the whole like, they got everyone up on stage and they're like, it's because of you fans that we're able to make the great games that we love that aren't influenced by outside people. It's like very, very on the nose. Like, please fucking help us. Please. Like this cry for help. Like, yeah. So I'm glad that they don't have to worry about that anymore.
For 5 whole years.
Yeah.
Cool. But what else is coming this week?
MLB The Show. Do you like baseball?
No.
I don't do that. I've watched a baseball
Nothing
game once live
against
and it was
baseball.
one of the most boring things I've ever watched.
Oh, man.
It's very, very boring. So apparently if you're into baseball, that's like one of the it's the premier baseball game, so you should be happy. It's also only on PS4. A game called The Witch and the 100 Knight 2. So is it The Witch and the 200 Knight?
The Witch and the... No, I don't know.
No, it's The Witch and the 200 Knight. It must be.
No.
Because it's a sequel. So if it's 100 Nights and it's a sequel, you just multiply by 2.
You confused me so much that I was reading. I'm like, no, it literally says the Witch and the 100 Nights 2.
I'm just trying to do quick math.
No, just skip.
Okay. I don't know what that is either. And then there's this game called Agony. I'm going to just control click on that. I want to see what that's all about. Whoa, it's got these like, it looks like Ares weird demonic horns on the...
Oh boy.
It's $40. So that's cool.
So it's cheap? Cheapish?
I don't see any like description of what this is meant to be.
Wait a minute. Okay, no, I don't want to butcher, but I think I know what that game's about.
Is this like this? Hold on, let's
read me the box.
Agony game.
Agony. And while we wait, we'll watch Kevin play some Fortnite.
I just knocked my microphone. My bad.
He's in the top 44 at the moment.
Oh no! The first thing that comes up is Agony has been delayed.
2 days ago. Okay.
2 days ago.
It's not coming out.
It might not be coming out this week anymore.
Well then, I think
let's see when this thing coming from Game Tyrant directly.
I know.
Previously set for a March 30th release, the horror game Agony has been delayed to an unannounced date. Ooh, oh, it's a Kickstarter game. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully the delay. Blah blah blah. Are you disappointed? I don't care if I'm disappointed.
Jeez, that game looks dark.
Agony is a first-person survival horror game currently in development. Players will begin their journey as a tormented soul within the depths of hell, without any memories about his past. Why did it go from the ambiguous players to now his? I'm confused.
Oh no.
The special ability to control people on their path and even possess simple-minded demons gives the player the necessary measures to escape hell or something like that.
I wrote an article about this when it was probably first revealed on Kickstarter about a year or two ago.
Okay.
Completely forgot about it, but it's been delayed now, so I'll forget about it some more until it appears again.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool, like a horror
it's an
game set
interesting
in
premise.
hell.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I'm down.
Very, very dark looking game.
I mean, actually, I'm not down because fuck horror games. I am not.
I don't know how scary it'll be. I mean, you're in hell. Is it really that scary? Yeah, it probably is.
But that's, I mean, last week was a very packed week. I know Ni no Kuni 2 came out to like insane reviews.
I saw some
Absolutely
gameplay,
amazing reviews.
and it looks awesome.
You know, I looked at gameplay and I don't know if I had looked at the wrong fucking game like beforehand, because I was of the impression that Ni no Kuni 2 is like way too JRPG for me. It's the type of JRPG that doesn't appeal to me. It's like the super, super heavy turn-based combat. Like, I was like, no, not keen. Watched a review, actually Peter Brown's review on GameSpot, and they had a lot of cool snippets of combat. That combat is
awesome.
not turn-based.
No.
It is like real-time
So-
spellcasting. It's almost like a Final Fantasy 15 vibe.
It's a Crisis Core vibe, man.
Shit sold. Okay, I'm buying it tomorrow.
That's what I mean, yeah, okay, it's like Final Fantasy is the whole action RPG thing. But watching the combat just reminded me so much of Crisis Core.
Yeah.
In the sense that, I don't know, it just reminded me of that.
You just sold me on that. Like,
Yeah, so
and it's got
it
the
looks
whole,
awesome.
I know Studio Ghibli, I don't know, Studio Ghibli.
It's actually Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli.
It's Ghibli.
Ghibli, yeah, Studio Ghibli. They aren't involved with this one, but they've kind of kept the same aesthetic, so it still looks like a watercolor painted anime.
Fairy tale.
Yeah, it's
game.
beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
really,
game.
really pretty game.
And from what I've read is that you don't really need knowledge of the first one to kind of interact with the second one at all. And it's got rid of its Pokemon-ish-esque familiar system, which a lot of people didn't like in the first game. Very grindy and stuff. So I'm actually like, again, another 180. I'm just like, shit, maybe I should actually give this game a chance.
It's your backlog of shame. It will
Yeah,
go
I mean, I'm just
when
coming
you
off a
buy it.
70-hour RPG, but I did hear that the main story in Ni no Kuni 2 is only about 35 to 40 hours,
Yeah,
which is
not
pretty
so
short
bad.
for a JRPG.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, so that's
super
far
short.
more digestible than a 100-hour Persona run through.
Yeah. So that's that out this week then.
That was out last week already. I think it came out on Friday, so you should probably pick that up. But I haven't even played Monster Hunter yet.
Oh, you're so behind on your grind, man. And
You know, we need to play Monster Hunter so we can actually talk about stuff like a dinosaur came out this week in Monster Hunter, and it's called Devil Joe or something like that.
Oh boy!
And a lot of people are like, man, that monster's cool. It just fucks up on the monsters. I'm like, I want to see it. I want to see.
I'm still stuck on Witcher, so I'm not playing anything else for.
I guess that kind of is Monster Hunter.
Witcher.
Yeah.
It literally is Monster
Yeah.
Hunter.
Geralt Monster
Geralt is
Hunter.
a Monster
Yeah.
Hunter.
You just
Why do they call
GMing
it-
his Monster Hunter life.
Why do they call it the Wild Hunt? The game's broken. It's actually a prequel to Monster Hunter.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
So Geralt fails and then the monsters take over the world?
Exactly, and then you, as the new protagonist, come in Monster Hunter world, and you have to pick up where Geralt left off.
So is this actually what the Netflix series is going to be about?
Yes, and if you look, Yennefer and Triss are Easter eggs
Okay.
in the game.
Okay. Do you hunt them as monsters? There's like two.
They have become monsters.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's like a weird like they were taken over by the monsters and then like combined DNA wise with the monsters.
I don't know.
Man, I was trying to go somewhere and not say breeding because that was like in my head. I was like, do not say that. That is gross.
Well, we've gone straight off now.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back. Let's
bring it
go back
Okay.
to.
But I'd be down for a Geralt skin in
Geralt
Monster Hunter.
yeah.
You can use
And
his silver
it can
sword
very
and
well
stuff.
happen because Monster Hunter like releasing random shit.
Yeah,
So
they've got Dante coming into the game now soon.
Geralt, place your bets now. Will Geralt of Rivia become the next Monster Hunter?
I'm down. I'm ready for
Released.
that. I'm ready. But yeah, I think that's where we can leave it off. I don't think there wasn't much news. I think we touched on news like in between.
Yeah.
As we went through, there weren't any big game announcements. There was a Nindies direct,
yes.
which we can slightly touch on. Lumines coming to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever play Lumines?
It's a lot of those indies are.
It's like rhythm game meets Tetris, almost.
Oh, that sounds
Almost.
interesting.
It's really good.
Oh.
It's really, really good.
What else was there?
I saw Lumines was on there. The other big one was... Oh, Jesus.
It's gone now.
There was a big indie game that I was like, shit, yeah.
I know one thing that was announced this week was that Ark is coming on Switch. I don't know if that is part of the indie thing, or was that confirmed, or was that a rumor?
Ark?
Yeah.
Like Ark, the survival game?
survival game on Switch.
I
don't know.
Okay,
let's not dive into
2 days. 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
I'm just bringing up a list of what was shown.
Do I need to fill the gap?
Yeah, you kind of do, because it's taking a while to load.
Craig, don't buy games. This is your intervention.
Even though we're telling you about more games, just don't buy more games.
Just don't buy them, please.
Okay, I'm loading up a new list. Whatever, I can't. I saw this really cool indie game, though, the other day. I don't know if it was part of the showcase or not, but it's called Karen. I think it's called Karen. It's like is this B-grade slasher.
Is this Karen from the Nintendo Switch initial adverts?
This is actually what she became. She became a monster.
Oh, okay. That bra on the rooftop went south.
Yeah, it went south, and she turned into this red, like, goo monster. Kind of looks like Carnage from Spider-Man. And in the game, your objective is to escape this, like, scientific lab where they kept Karen, and you're kind of playing the monster in a horror movie, and you're just, like, brutally murdering these scientists in the game.
Is that literally the premise for Karen?
Yes, that is 100%
okay.
the premise for Karen.
I'm just checking. It's hard to know when we're talking fact and
100%. Mark of the Ninja Remastered.
Oh, yes, that is the
You never played Mark of the Ninja?
No. What? I know. This is how friendships end. We've ended this friendship many times in the last 4 episodes alone.
It comes from the people who made a great game called Shank. And then
Clay. I know Shank.
I think Clay made Don't Starve. I might be mistaken.
I don't know.
But Mark of the Ninja Remastered is like this 2D stealth game, and it's so good. It's so good. I'm so excited for it to be coming to Nintendo Switch. Like, I played it when it released first on
PC?
Yeah, PC. Yeah, that's the one. Because I was a big fan of Shank and its art style. So, yeah.
That's cool. So that's coming to Switch.
Yeah. Then a game called Just Shapes and Beats, which kind of looks like Shapes and Sounds from PlayStation, which is, Shapes and Sounds.
Only half a ripoff.
It's called a musical bullet hell. Cool.
Sold.
As players try to stay alive to the beat of the music alone. Down. Then we've got a game called Garage, which looks kind of gory. Says gory game inspired by VHS era B movies. Launches on Nintendo Switch. A top-down shooter published by Tiny Build. Tiny Build do
looks
cool stuff.
Gory, literally gory.
Yeah, it's a dude just holding a fucking head. Like that's pretty weird.
That's creepy.
This is a list on Polygon that they put out. Pool Panic.
I don't know. Okay, I lie. I know some of these games. I don't know what.
Everything is a game of pool in Pool Panic. Published by Adult Swim Games. Cool. That's all I need to know. Bomb Chicken. Is it bomb chicken as in like this chicken is the bomb? Or
it's the bomb
is
chicken.
He a bomb?
No, it's the bomb chicken. It's in the name.
Bomb Chicken is an absurd action platform that has you, unsurprisingly, playing as a bomb-laying chicken. We're both right. Because he's the bomb, but he lays bombs.
He's a bomb chicken. And there's Lumines Remastered.
Lumines Remastered. Lumines Remastered. Very, very good game. Reigns, Kings and Queens. So you never played Reigns on your smartphone?
Yeah, I was going to say that is a mobile game. I think that you played.
Yeah, you can get it on PC as well. It's kind of like it's like a really funny twist on Tinder, essentially. So you're playing in both games. You're playing either a king or a queen, depends on which game you're playing. And like you'll have decisions like swipe left will be a decision, or swipe right, and you have these like meters like the army or the church or the people, and you kind of have to keep these meters level. You can't let one get too high or too low, because like say the church gets too powerful, then they'll overthrow you, or the army gets too powerful and they'll overthrow you. And if it gets too low, they'll just overthrow you as well, or whatever.
So everyone just wants to overthrow
It's really cool. It's almost like a dungeon crawl of sorts, because you're trying to get as far into a reign as possible without like dying. And on each run, you'll maybe unlock a new character who will come in to play in your next like run or something. It's really, it's got really good humor. Like the humor's spot on.
That's cool. And it seems like an easy enough game to play if you're just swiping left and right.
Yeah, it's really good. So awesome. I think Reigns, Kings and Queens is both games. The second one is very good, which was Her Reigns, which was the Queen one. Very good. Lightfall, Nadia.
Don't know what that is.
Fast-paced platforming adventure game. Nadia. West of Loathing. That looks like a Stickman.
What? That game was made by me. I drew that. Stickman on my forte.
Wild West themed goofy RPG filled with plenty of puzzles, puns, and turn-based combat.
Oh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Pode. That looks pretty
Is
cute. I don't know. Co-op
Pode.
puzzle game inspired by Norwegian arts and culture. Co-op puzzle. I'm always down for those.
Lenska's going to play that.
Yeah, exactly. You can just play with someone
Done
who's
deal.
not. Yes, this is another one. The Messenger.
Messenger.
The Messenger is like a. It's sort of like Shovel Knight in its aesthetic. It's like 8-bit, but you can switch between 8-bit and 16-bit eras.
Oh, that's cool.
But you're playing as like this ninja, so it's almost like I'm forgetting the old game with the fucking ninja in it now.
I don't remember either.
Whatever, I forgot.
That
But it basically looks like, this.
Is it not Ninja Garden that you're thinking of? No.
Yeah, like Ninja Gaiden. Yeah,
Okay.
like the old Ninja
Just
Gaidens.
checking.
Yeah. But this is like this era's Shovel Knight, essentially.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
Bad North, no idea what that is.
Jeez, there are a lot of games in
Defend strongholds in this roguelite real-time strategy game. Viking battles on. Cool. Oh, and Banner Saga 3. I never played any of the Banner Sagas, but I
haven't
know
played
they super
any
well.
of these indies.
A lot of people love the Banner Saga. And yeah, third one. It's like turn-based...
Stuff.
turn-based strategy, or it's almost like chess in a way.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just
Tickle
the
that
aesthetic
brain
doesn't really
matter.
appeal to me. I'm not a huge into like Vikings and that sort of Nordic culture, so
Hmm.
nothing to do with it's being bad. It's just like it's not what
Yes.
draws me into
How
a
dare
game.
you.
But I know a lot of people love Banner Saga, so yeah.
That's interesting. So that's quite a few indies. I've
Yeah,
literally
indies.
not played any of those.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more direct before
E3, yeah.
before E3, and then E3
It'll
will be the
happen.
big direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Any other news you want to glaze over?
No, I
quickly?
think we touched on Ubisoft
They're
not
fending off of indie.
Yeah, fending off Vivendi, and we touched on Battlefront 2 getting its stuff removed, and the sales were a big thing.
That was news.
There was a cool thing that I saw to do with Battlefield 1. They're using AI to kind of like they taught an AI to play the
I
game.
saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and they want to use AI and machine learning as a means to
Make games
make
better.
make games better, make bots better, make learn how computers are kind of like algorithmically breaking their games. They could replace some QA testers with like legions of AI.
To just mow
Yeah.
through the... Now, did you see the only thing I want to talk about, maybe briefly, because we've run out of time, forgive us, is the new God of War gameplay. Did you watch it?
Oh my god, yeah. Holy shit.
So when we saw that game announced at E3, I was like, okay, that looks really cool. And I sort of put it to the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Just forgotten until it releases. And that's next month now. And they've released gameplay, a beautiful 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my god.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
So good.
It looks so good. I'm so keen now.
It looks beautiful. The combat's got this like Dark Souls-ish feel to it, but like how many times did you see him like he throws an axe against someone,
pulls it back,
freezes them, so he then just pummels another enemy with his fists while they're frozen, and then like recalls his axe like Thor style. Like, oh my
It
god.
looks really good. I mean, it's God of War, so we're expecting more Kratos like beating the shit out of people, but just with this axe, seeing how meaty the combat is and how there's like an impact, you can almost feel the axe slicing through everything and just him pummeling stuff. It looks so good.
It's something I think
Can't
the previous
wait.
games missed, because like I think the combat was always like somewhat engrossing. I don't think it was that deep because you're just using your like fucking chains of
you learn
Olympus to
your
cut
combos
through
and
people.
that's it,
Yeah. And there was no real sense. It felt like his blades just like kind of went through enemies. You didn't have this like solid feel to it. This one seems like every punch and every hit with an axe you're gonna feel.
Looks so good.
And it seems like it's got a much bigger like RPG focus. Like you're gonna be crafting
you
things.
level
And,
up your there's armor. There's one part of the gameplay that showed him like, well, he didn't equip it, but he had an option to craft armor, which cosmetically you can actually see as well, which is quite cool.
so it's like maybe some of the Horizon Zero Dawn DNA getting in there. It's
getting
like
through,
light
yeah.
RPG elements. But it looks really good.
It looks good, yeah.
It's-
I watched that before driving it through corner. I was like, shit. I'm so keen. It's only a month. Well, it's about a month away now,
20th of April. It's just under a month away. Yeah, and it went gold this week, so it's all
coming.
set. Yeah,
It is coming.
barring a strange disaster in CD printing, that game should arrive on time.
I buy it digitally.
Yeah, buy digitally. Just buy digitally. But yeah, that game looks stunning. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And again, it just we were speaking about Microsoft's problem with exclusives, and
just God of War. like a month
They
after Sea of
their
Thieves.
E3 has got to be something. It's
Yeah.
just got to be something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah,
We'll see.
that's all we have time for this week. Thank you for coming through again, Matty.
Hey, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure driving to the wild East.
And I think this new mic setup is really good. We just got to get a bit higher
man.
stands, I think.
Yeah, I've broken my giraffe neck leaning down.
Yeah. And just so you don't like lean away from the mic so much. We also
I
got to
know,
get used to it because
sorry.
we can't move that much. Because now it's like if I don't talk directly
I'm
at
gonna
this
have
thing,
such shoulder neck ache.
Yeah.
You can predict
sorry.
it.
We'll get some new stands, but I hope the audio quality is a lot better.
It'd be a
I
shame
think
if we had to burn this episode.
That'd be a real shame. Yeah, it would be a real shame if the whole
Right
echo thing
shame.
happened again and
Oh,
we just have
no.
to burn the entire episode. I'd
Let's
be very
not.
sad.
We'll see it right now.
Let's not and say we did. Yeah.
Okay.
But this has
Yeah.
been your episode 4 of Checkpoint Chat. Again, you can reach Matty on Twitter
Matthew Fick.
at Matthew Fick. You can find me at Caption Barbosa. And you can send us questions throughout the week. We will always post up a question poll just before we record.
yeah.
But chat to us. Send us questions on our Twitter at Checkpoint Chat. And again, you can listen to us across Apple Podcasts, Stitcher,
Everything.
Google Play, not SoundCloud, Anchor. And then you can use our RSS feed to kind of
Plug in.
plug it into whatever app you use to get your podcasts. So yeah, thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week.
We
Goodbye,
love you.
Matty.
We love you lots.
I love you.
you lots.
Bye.
Bye.